typically when it comes to your journey for CAT, especially when you are new to this journey, there are a lot of issues that you might face with regards to understanding the typical profile requirement, the scores in 10, 12th, graduation and stuff like that. So this session will help you to understand that from scratch till anything and everything that is required to be understood as far as understanding the importance of your 10th, 12th, graduation, your work experience, your gender, academic diversity and stuff like that. So I had asked people to share their questions on the Google form. Some of them have already filled those questions. So I've taken those questions down. I'll be taking these questions and much more that you people will be sharing in the chat. So these are the questions that were shared earlier. I'll give preference to these questions, and I'm pretty sure that if time permits, we'll be able to take almost all the questions. If you look at this particular set of questions and the questions that are there afterwards, you will realize that most of the questions are with regards to the discussion that we are going to have, which is about 10 score, 12 score, graduation, work ex, academic diversity, gender diversity for top B schools. I'm sure when people start, everybody wants to get into one of the top B schools, and this is why the title was BLACKISM, which is referring to the top B schools in the country, starting from Bangalore, Lucknow, Ahmedabad, Calcutta, Kozhikode, then you have Indore, Shillong and Mumbai. Not in any particular order, it's just that the acronym BLACKISM becomes very easy to remember. So I'll take these questions, don't worry about this. I've already put them in the PPT. But what I want all of us to understand is, and in fact I'll say this, that there are a lot of people who tend to misunderstand this or probably not go deep dive into this and still share their opinions as experts, which creates a lot of confusion. So once and for all, understand this, that there are three distinct stages to secure an MBA seat. What are the three distinct stages? One is clearing your sectional and overall cutoffs. So think of it like a knockout stage, where if you lose, you are knocked out of the tournament. Think of it in a similar manner that CAT is your first priority. Forget about anything else. As long as you are eligible to appear in the exam, CAT is your first and foremost priority. If you don't clear sectional cutoffs as well as overall cutoffs, you are out of the race. Forget your 10, 12, graduation. Doesn't matter if you are a national champion. If you don't clear sectional cutoffs, you're not going to get a call. If you don't clear overall cutoff, so what do you mean sectional cutoff? You need to clear cutoffs across VRC, DLR and quantitative ability as well as your overall cutoff to be able to be eligible for the next stage. So think of it this as a pre-screening kind of a thing, that you have appeared in CAT, they have decided on a minimum percentile, and if you cross that minimum percentile, then only you are eligible to be shortlisted to be called. You will, it is not necessary that you will definitely be called. You move to the next stage. In the next stage, there is the shortlist where you will now appear for PI, writing ability test, in certain cases GDs if required. IIMs have stopped conducting GDs for so many years now. But typically the shortlist call, this shortlist call will take into account your CAT score, maybe some part of 10, 12, graduation, work ex, gender and academic diversity. Some IIMs have some percentage of criteria, some IIMs don't have certain percentages. We'll understand all that. But this includes a big part of your profile, your 10, 12, graduation, etc. And a lot of times when we talk of profile, students tend to get confused about extracurricular activities. There is absolutely zero weightage for extracurricular activities or co-curricular activities that you have won. These are clear-cut numerical based values that could be put in an Excel and an output can be had. So there is no comparison that it is a national level certificate, state level certificate. As far as shortlisting is concerned, as far as weightages are concerned for the final merit list as well, whatever extracurriculars and co-curriculars you have will be super useful in your interview when you tell something about yourself. That's it. Apart from that, there is no direct weightage given to any of these. And the third part is the final merit list. This is after your interview. So your interview marks, how are they used up in deciding? Just the interview plays a role, or something that you've done in CAT, will that also be useful? So we'll look at that part as well. So these are effectively the three parts that we need to understand as far as the admission funnel in CAT exam is concerned. Now moving ahead, if you look at the overall and sectionals cutoff for BLACKISM, so the first number that you see is your overall cutoff, then you have VRC, then DLR and then QA. So for example, for IIM Bangalore, if you want to be considered, So think of it this way, IIM Bangalore will not even look at your data that you'll fill after filling the CAT form if you don't get an overall CAT percentile of 85 and VRC sectional percentile of 80 and DLR and QA percentiles of 75 each. Interestingly, if you look at the data for IIM Ahmedabad, you will find that overall percentile requirement for general category students has been raised to 95 last year. 95 percentile is the first yardstick. If you score 94 overall, you are out of the race for a general category student, irrespective of your stream. Doesn't matter that you're doing your graduation from journalism, agriculture, MBBS, doesn't matter. Your CAT percentile is not 95, you don't go ahead. So understand that this is the list of criteria for overall percentile, then VRC, then DLR, and then QA. And these are the lists for EWS, NC, OBC, SC, ST, and PWD candidates. For example, if you look at 10 candidates at a PWD, then 75 minus 10, 65 will be your overall percentile requirement. So you can take a screenshot of this and keep it somewhere in front, depending on your category, that this is the bare minimum target that you have to breach when you are appearing in mocks. Especially when you are taking SimCats, you will find that after every mock, you are given a typical 85, 85, 85 and a 95 benchmark score. So while you are analyzing, you are already given this target that this is the bare minimum percentile and score that you want to be considered for Blackie. So make sure that you have understood this well. As I said, this is just a knockout. You will just be considered. And Bangalore, people will include your scores for understanding whether you can make it to the PI route if you clear these benchmarks. So I hope that is one. The second slide now gives you the weightage for shortlist. So understand that if you look at the top colleges, BLACKISM, the CAT weightage is given in the first column. And interestingly, if you look at IIM Mumbai, it has 100% weightage for CAT score. So for some of you, a fantastic news, especially for people who are worried that my 10 scores are not that great, 12th is not that great, graduation is not that great, no work experience, nothing like this. So understand that the entire criteria for you to get an IIM Mumbai call is just your CAT score. So the higher the CAT score, the better your chances. Again, understand that this does not guarantee that you will get a call. These are weightages. So what do you mean by this? Whatever you score in CAT, 55% of its weight will be for CAT score. 10 score, 10% weightage, 12th 10%, graduation 10%, workex 10%, academic diversity, which means if you belong to non-engineering discipline, depending on the discipline, there are different marks for different disciplines, and gender diversity if you are a non-male. So as long as you are non-male, you get these points. So interestingly, this is a good table for you to have a good practice of the first step in data interpretation, which is drinking of data or understanding the given number. So if you look at this number, extreme value 100% data used for CAT in terms of giving the shortlist, and for K you have the highest gender diversity factor, and along with that, if you club academic diversity, 15% weightage for diversity in general. So that's pretty big. If you look at IIM Indore, there is 25% weight for your 12 score and 10% weight for your 10 score. So effectively making this 35% as a very big number. So this can help you answer your queries that my 10th and 12th scores are not that great. Now understand, if your 10, 12 scores are in the range of 70s, and I'll be very blunt here, if your scores are in the range of 70s, you have very little chance of getting a call from IIM Indore, irrespective of your CAT percentile. Because in your competition, there will be a lot of people who would have scored well in 10, 12, and these 35% weight will give them an upper hand in getting a call compared to you. So understand that this is the grid that you have to look for when you look at 10, 12 graduation scores, workex weightage. Are there some colleges which do not look at 10 scores? If you look at IIM Lucknow, it doesn't consider 10 score at all. So if your 10 score, if your just 10 score is bad, but you have done well in 12th graduation, you have workex, you are a female candidate, and you are from a non-engineering background, then understand all the remaining 40% weights are in your favor. And if you get a decent CAT percentile, out of that 60, you'll get a good score from that as well. So 10 score is excluded from Lucknow. If you look at any particular college that doesn't include workix while giving a call, look at IIM Calcutta. IIM Calcutta does not give any score for academic diversity and workix while giving the first shortlist. So if you don't have workix, that's why you might have heard that a lot of freshers tend to get shortlist for IIM Calcutta, because there is no criteria or weightage playing field irrespective of whether you're a fresher or a workix. But for all others except Calcutta and Mumbai, you will have certain weightages. IIM Ahmedabad typically has had on-off relationship. These criteria changes every year. Not majorly, but in certain aspects like the weight allocated to workix. So Ahmedabad tends to have some weightage for workix in some years. Sometimes it doesn't have any weightage. So it can change for the next year. So broadly, this is the understanding as far as the 10-12 graduation scores are concerned. And the final part is with regards to final admission letter. At this stage, it is not very important. So maybe I'll come back and we can discuss this later. You can take a screenshot if required. But understand that a big chunk of your conversion happens here, PI and VAT. So if you look at any of the colleges, and I've only taken up for the top IIMs because at this stage, nobody is having this question that I want to join IIM Sambalpur. So please give me the percentile target for IIM Sambalpur. Sambalpur is my dream college. Nothing against IIM Sambalpur, but clearly it is not one among the top 7, and therefore nobody is interested at this point in time in getting into a Sirmaur or a Sambalpur or any other college which is beyond that. So understand that PI and VAT is something that you need to focus very heavily on, and decent weightages for CAT score as well. So your CAT score along with PI and VAT can literally make or break your final selection. So you should not worry too much. And therefore, why is this table again important? Understand that there is hardly any weightage for getting a first prize in national level competition. There is 0 points for getting first prize in an essay writing or a debate competition. If you have made conference, if you have attended conferences or done paper presentations, there are no extra marks as such. Whatever happens in this PI process, and if you are able to use those extracurriculars in the PI process to get good marks, that will be a great advantage. So I'm not saying certifications are not important, but do they have a direct weightage? Can a student PI? Answer is yes. So they don't look at, okay, where are your certifications? Why should I give you more marks? No, it doesn't happen like that. You don't need certifications to get good marks in PI. If you have them, it's an advantage, but these are not necessary requirements. So profile in terms of, extracurriculars or sports or, curriculum activities, not really a benchmark required anywhere except being useful in the PI stage. Now let me come back to the questions that a lot of you had asked, and then we'll move ahead to the set of questions in the chat that some of you have shared. So OBC, non-criminal, non-engineering female, 997. Now the moment you look at this 997, understand that 9 in 10 standard is good, 9 in 12 standard is good, 7 in graduation is a little less, but understand that the benchmarks for graduation are a little low than 10th and 12th. If you go to any IIM's website, you will find out what is the number of marks that they give if you score above certain percentages in 10th, in 12th and in graduation. And typically, what is that number that they typically allocate? So if you have a score above 9, then you get full marks out of 10. If 10% is the weightage, you get full 10 marks. Somewhere between 80 to 90, you get 8 marks. Somewhere between 70 to 80, you get 6 marks. So typically, a breakup of 2 marks going down for every decade of percentages. So 90 plus or 9 CGPA plus, effectively, you get marks accordingly. So there is this conversion factor as well that is important. So 95 into your CGPA typically becomes your percentages. So if this 9 is a CGPA, that will then get multiplied by 95. So you will fall in a bracket of 80 to 90, which is the second slab. So it's not the highest that you are going to get in terms of marks. But if you score a 10 CGPA, you will get the full mark. So understand 10 CGPA in 10th and 12th, fantastic. If not 9 CGPA or something on those lines, then you will fall in the second bracket and so on. And then there is a partial difference of 2 marks when you go down. Same is the case for 12th, same is the case for graduation. It's just that in graduation, the slabs are slightly lower because it is expected that it's difficult to get higher percentage marks in graduation. A lot of colleges do this differences across streams as well. So there was this question that my stream or university doesn't give a lot of marks. They don't care for your university, but they care for stream. So for example, in MBBS, generally you get very less marks. So a lot of colleges have this classification that in graduation, even less scores are given due weightages or marks. So I hope this question, I'll take this up again. So how much percentile would be safe for I am Blackie? Understand, because you are belonging to OBC category, female, and your scores are pretty decent, not very good, but not very bad as well. You might as well target anywhere above 97, 98 percentile to get that call. In general, you can understand that these cutoffs that I showed were the first benchmark. So don't get confused that, I just need to get an 85 percentile to get those calls. 85 is the first shortlisting. Then among the candidates who are shortlisted, they'll give call to a certain number of people. Let's say 1,000, 2,000, 4,000 people. So to be able to be a part of those 4,000, you need that kind of a percentile. 10th is 93.2%, fantastic. 12th in the second category, you'll fall in the second category between 80 to 90. So this is going to deduce 2 or 3 marks, and Calcutta has a weightage of 15. There is a difference of 3 marks in every decade of percentages. So BTech 75.3 is fine, not the best again, but fine. And OBC 2 years work ex, target percentile for IIM ABC. Understand again, because you belong to OBC, anywhere around 97 to 98 percentile should help you get a lot of calls. Higher the number, the better are your chances. But one important pointer that I like to share for all of you, when you look at this, it is just to give you hope, right? That, I'm not going to get a 99.9. Even if I get a 98 plus, there is a good chance that I might still get a call from some of the colleges. Then it gives you hope, and then maybe gives you more motivation to study. If that's the case, maybe good for you. But my personal suggestion is that why are you limiting yourself to getting a 93 percentile or a 95 percentile or a 98 percentile? Try and maximize your percentile. If you can get a 99.5, given your 10, 12 fantastic scores, you still have a lot of time in CAT, you have 2 years of work, so you're already a pretty mature individual who understands that if you put in a lot of work, you might get a good score. So if you get that good score, I think your objective should be to obviously get as high a percentile as possible. Does your 12th percentage in college you are in matters a lot? So I've already answered that question. Yes, it matters, but you cannot say it matters a lot. For example, for a college like IIM Mumbai, it does not matter at all to give you that first shortlist. In the interview stage, it might matter because there is a 40% weightage. So I'll share that as well. There are certain very interesting picks in terms of colleges that don't care about your ACATS at all. One of them being FMS. So FMS doesn't really care about your academics. It just focuses on your CAT percentile. In the league of top 3-4 B schools in the country, so as good or as at par with IIMs ABCL, and with the amount of return on investment because of the fees, a fantastic choice. FMS can be one of those colleges that you can target. So 12th and college matters. I'm a BCom student. They don't provide 7.5 CGPA or higher. I can completely empathize with you, but unfortunately, this is not something that they will consider as an excuse. They have a very objective criteria. If you have an EWS certificate, please do definitely use it. It gives you the leeway as similar to the NCOBC category. So similar percentile cutoffs and shortlisting criteria. So definitely use the EWS certificate. They'll treat it as it is. There'll be no normalization because your university gives lesser marks. There's no compensation for that. How to get loans for MBA? You don't need to worry anything about that at this point in time. All the typical lenders will come to your desk to offer you loans if you get calls from top B schools. But more than that, there are standardized national banks like SBI that have scholar loan schemes. So you will get the entire amount of loan or a major chunk of it collateral free. So you don't need to put any collateral as well. Very subsidized interest rates and a lot of interesting features like moratorium benefits, etc. So SBI scholar loan is definitely one of those. There are some other nationalized banks that offer similar profiles. You don't need to worry about the money as long as you get a final admit from any of the top 20, 25, 30 colleges, or even maybe 100 colleges in the country. You don't need to worry about the loan part. Everybody will come to your desk to offer the loans. It would be your choice to decide from where to take that loan. My profile is 79 in 10th, 96 in 12th. So understand, there is a college that doesn't give weightage for 10th. You have 96 in 12th, that is best. I mean, you'll get full marks. 84 in graduation is fantastic. OBC category. So then understand non-engineering. So this academic diversity is also there. Can you get into Ahmedabad and Bangalore? Obviously, the answer is yes. You have a lot of good things going for you. It's just that what should be a target percentile? My suggestion will be 99 plus. So target 99 plus. Despite the OBC category, make sure that you get that 99.3, 99.5 plus percentile, clear sectional cutoffs. Same is the case for Bangalore. I'm assuming that you don't have any work ex, which has not been mentioned. Bangalore has some weightage for work experience. So there is a chance that you might not get that call from Bangalore. But Kohikode, we have already discussed, there is a good chance. Which certifications increase the chance of selection? Certifications will only be relevant during the interview stage. Certifications will typically only be relevant during the interview stage, not in this stage while you are getting shortlisted. So in the interviews, when they ask questions, you need to justify why do you want to pursue an MBA, what is it that you have done, whether you are a right fit for the seat that they are offering. And to be able to do that, certifications can come in handy. But at this point, my strong recommendation, do not worry too much. In fact, do not worry at all about certifications. Once you get that good percentile, you can always prepare to justify why would you want to pursue an MBA and why you are the right fit without the need for too many certifications. SC category female 86, 79, 66. Non-engineering backgrounds will get marks for academic diversity. You'll obviously get marks for gender diversity. BCom graduate, 1 year of work experience will get marks for both. And then 10th is pretty good. 12th is slightly less. It will fall in the third bracket in some colleges. In second bracket, when I say second bracket and third bracket, highest marks are 10, then 8, then 6, and so on. So maybe you'll get an 8 or a 6 here. And again, same is the case for graduation, maybe a second or a third bracket. Looking for tier 1 colleges, what percentile? For SC category, the percentile requirement is pretty low. So anywhere around 80 to 85 percentile if you target, I'm sure you are going to get calls from good colleges. But make sure that you clear sectional percentiles across the 3 sections. Male non-engineer 10th 92%, fantastic score, full marks here. 12th 79.8 will fall in the third category, maybe 6 marks out of 10. Graduation 70, again slightly low. 3-year program completed in 5 years due to backlogs. Another common question, sir, I have a backlog, does it impact? It might have certain implications in the interview when they ask, why have you so many backlogs? And then they will want a genuine answer that justifies or that gives them an impression that this was an important part of your journey. You have learned so much, you have moved on from it, and you are not the same person in terms of the reasons that were there for backlogs. So if the interview goes well, your backlogs really don't matter. They don't have any weightage whatsoever. It doesn't matter in terms of weightages for backlogs. There is absolutely no weightage for gap year as well. So if you have gap year, it doesn't impact negatively directly. Again, in the interview stage, they might ask that, you have 2 years of gap. Why was this gap required? Why did you take it? There is a chance that they might not ask it as well. If they ask it, whether you are able to handle it, manage it properly, that's the real question. There have been instances where people have taken 5-year gaps for UPSC preparation, could not clear UPSC and went to IIM Ahmedabad. So really don't worry too much about gaps or backlogs. Extracurricular sports I've already answered. What are my chances? Required percentile. So I've already given you a snapshot. You can follow that to get your desired calls. At the end of July 26, 3-year work ex, fantastic. You've completed a degree from ICT Mumbai with 82%. That's fantastic. 12th 87 is in second year, 80 to 90, and 10th is in first year. You'll get full marks for 10th score and 8 marks out of 10 for 12th. What are the percentile for old IIMs? Assuming that you are a general category candidate, because this has not been mentioned, for IIMs ABC, I'll recommend anywhere between 99.2, 99.3 plus, and for the other IIMs, anywhere around 98.5 plus. So typically speaking, you need to get those high percentiles. I'll come back to the space where these sectional percentiles were mentioned and the shortlist were mentioned. I'll also take typically questions from the chat. All right, so currently 49 people are watching. There are so many questions. I'll take them one by one. Completed graduation this month. Should I do some work ex or keep focusing on CAT? No, it depends completely on your objectives and ambitions. As a fresher, you're absolutely free to pursue CAT. It is always advisable to pursue your MBA as early as possible. But if you feel that work experience will give you that maturity and you would want to pursue your MBA after that, that's also fine. That's a decision that you will have to take depending on your objectives and ambitions. There is no harm in preparing for CAT. You can prepare for CAT straight away. Will it be considered a drop year? If you completed graduation this year, yes, it will be considered a drop year. But as I said, there is no direct weightage for drop year. 788 general engineering male, non-engineering fresher. Uh, have done some courses and internships. Just wanted to review on how can I maximize my profile. So typically you can't do much about the scores that you have already got. You can maybe do some certifications again during the interview stage. This is relevant at this point in time. Rather than maximizing your profile, my recommendation will be for you to maximize your percentile in CAT. BSc Statistics fresher 867 required percentile. I've already answered. You'll get marks for good marks for maybe 10th because you have an 8 CGPA. But again, you'll fall in the third category. 12th is low. Graduation is low. For you to get those calls, you'll need a very high percentile, preferably 99.7 plus if you want to get calls from IIM Calcutta and stuff. So I guess I've answered this. 777 profile is not that great. When you say 777, you already fall in the third, fourth bracket for all the categories. GEM, again, you don't get marks for academic diversity and gender diversity. 3 years of work ex is good. You will get marks for that, but you need to target very high percentage. So target 99.5 plus in general. In general, my recommendation for GEM candidates, because that's a very common question that a lot of us have. My suggestion is target anywhere between 99.5 plus. If you are a general engineering male, because you don't get marks for academic diversity, you don't get marks for gender diversity, and if you don't have work ex, then your percentile requirement jumps even higher, maybe a 99.7, 99.8. So in general, for all general engineering male, you need to get very high percentiles. Are there any chances? Yes, there are very good chances. A lot of people who finally end up getting admissions to some of these top colleges are GEM freshers, and which is why such high targets are kept in the first place, because it is difficult for them to have diversity in the campus, because at one point in time IIMs are flooded with engineers. So to make sure that batch has diversity, they have added these criteria. So 767, again, the moment you look at 767, this is slightly low. OBC will give you an advantage. There is definitely a realistic chance for new IIMs and good tier 2 colleges. So as I said, profile, and I'll answer that question that a lot of you are asking, which is about the colleges that do not consider your profile at all. Now this is a gold mine. I am Mumbai, I am Udaipur, I am Rohtak, I am Trichy, I am Jammu, I am Bodh Gaya. There are 9 IIMs, including the latest I am Guwahati, that shortlist for the first stage just purely on the basis of your CAT score. So they'll just look at your CAT score and they will give you this particular shortlist. There is absolutely no requirement for you to worry about your 677. So a lot of you have asked this question that, will I get calls from any of the colleges? IIM Mumbai is tier 1, hands down. So it is one among the top 10 colleges in the country, arguably, and therefore if you worry about your scores, you will probably not study hard and then maybe get a lesser percentile. Try and get as good a percentile. Your percentile will eventually define whether you get a call from these colleges. Similarly, FMS Mumbai, Exlari Jamshedpur via ZAT, and therefore while preparing, it is extremely important that you focus on comprehensive preparation. You focus on making sure that you attend those classes of vocabulary as well when it comes to VRC, because that will be super useful in SNAP and NMAT as well as XLRI. You attend those grammar classes because that will be super useful in CAT definitely as well, but also equally important in ZAT and MAT SNAP. So you have both the top colleges from SNAP, college from NMAT, NMIMS Mumbai. You also have TIS. Now understand TIS has 97% weight for CAT score, which is for the HRM, and for the ODCL program they have 95% weight for CAT and 3% for gender diversity. So again, understand that if you are a female getting a good percentile in CAT, you are almost automatically sure that you are going to get a TIS score. So target that very high percentile in CAT, and gender diversity marks in which ways you are going to get. So JBIMS again, it is based on written score, takes by CET, 15% all India seats as well. IFT, there is 90% CAT score weightage for first shortlisting. For the final admit, they include a lot of other things, but for initial call, your CAT score is the only parameter. So if you get anywhere above 95, 96 percentile, you have a decent chance of getting an IFT call. So I hope this makes sense. So you can take a screenshot of this slide as well. This will be super useful to give you that motivation that doesn't matter my background. So I might have got less marks in 10, 12 graduation. I might not have work ex. Doesn't matter at all. What matters is your CAT score. And this is just a basic list from among the top colleges. There are colleges like MDI, IIM Ranchi that give 70% weightage to CAT score. So you have good chances there as well. It's just that I picked up few colleges that can give you that boost that, you know, my past scores really don't matter that much. I hope this is fine. All right. Let's look at some of the other questions as well. Score of 95.8 in 10th, 84.6 in 12th, 77 in graduation, general female. Fantastic chance. Obviously, you have a fantastic score in 10th. 12th is also pretty good. So, very good chances of you getting those top calls. There is no extra weightage as such for profile or extracurriculars. So, I hope that is clear. Yes, your work experience will only be considered till July and not Jan. Depends on the college. They might open up the form for extra form filling in December, and there you can fill up the work ex that you have currently been at. So generally speaking, most of the AMs will consider your work experience if you are working at that point in time. But for the initial shortlisting, it will only be considered till July when the form opens. So I hope that answers your question. 867 non-engineer CAT percentile. Again, 867 is slightly on the lesser side. For IIM Lucknow, 10th any which ways is not relevant. So if we go back, we'll realize that for the shortlist, Lucknow doesn't have any weightage for 10th. 12th and graduation, typically you will require good scores. There is weightage for work ex and academic diversity. So you'll get some marks for academic diversity. 9082 is fine, 6 CGPA is slightly less, but again, understand that effectively try and target as high a percentile. So this seems like a very cliched statement, sir. This was something that was already known to us while you taking a session on this. Understand that this session will help you give this belief that calls from top B schools are not out of your scope. So you can get those calls. It gives you the breakup of the weightages that are there. So if you have poor 10, 12 graduation, understand that colleges like IIM Indore and IIM K will have a bigger impact. So you can forget getting a call from IIM Indore and IIM K if you have weak scores. So if your 10th is anywhere between 7, 7, something like this, 7, 8, 8, 7, then based on this, K and I are very difficult to get because you have around 35% weightages in K and I. And this is as per the latest data available. So, but for other colleges, you can understand that the weightages are slightly lesser. For Lucknow, it is just 10% for 10th and 12th. Graduation, you have K and I having 0 weightages. So, if your graduation score is just less and your 10th and 12th are very high, then you still have a chance in K and I. But if your 10th and 12th are low, graduation is very good, then you have a very good chance in L as well. So, it all depends on the combination that you have and the corresponding percentage. We also have a fantastic IMS profile evaluator. The link will be available in the comment section. You can click on this and fill your details and you'll get to understand what chances you have. So there is this tool where you can get your profile evaluated. The link will be available in the comment section. You can click on that and you can get your profile evaluated. So I have a score of 95 point. I've already taken this. 85 in 10th, 96 in 12th is fantastic. 988 NMIMS Mumbai BBA. See, 988 is very good. So when you say 9, you'll fall in the second bracket for getting scores. So you'll get 8 marks out of this 10. 12th, again, you'll get decent marks, maybe a second or third category. And then graduation is also fine. So in terms of chances, yes, the chances are pretty good. What to do to build a better profile? See, when it comes to profile, you might think of certifications, you might think of getting or winning competitions, case competitions across colleges, paper presentations, stuff like that. All these will be useful during the interview stage. They'll not be directly relevant at any stage apart from when they ask questions in interview. So it will be useful during the interview, but really do not worry too much about your profile. Prepare for CAT as best as you can, and then try and make sure that you get as high a percentile. Typically, what is it that's in your control? What's in your control at this point in time is to maximize your CAT score. What's in your control is, if you're still in final year of graduation, make sure that you get good marks so that your graduation score is up to the mark, as high as possible. What is also in your hands is work experience. If you're continuing and you can have that work experience, if you have 1 year of experience, maybe after one more year, you'll have 2 years of experience. So these are the controllables that you have. Apart from this, nothing else is in your hands. You can't control gender diversity. You can't control academic diversity. 10, 12th and graduation scores for most are done. So that is beyond your control. So focus on controlling the controllables, if I can use that term, and try and maximize your CAT score, right? Yes, science and commerce have different weightages or different marks. So depending on stream, a lot of colleges give different criteria for giving weightages. For example, your 12th score in science versus 12th score in a different stream might have, like arts and commerce, might have a different weightage. But this is going too deep into details of each individual college. Every college, every IIM in India will have a different weight allocated for how they use your 10 score, 12 scores. For example, IIM Indore uses a statistical normalization process using Z scores. So they have Z max minus Z min divided by Z standard. So the standardization method is based on heavily on the concepts of statistics, where the maximum score available, the minimum score available, and then they allocate 25% weightage that we see here in 12th standard. So understand that this is going too deep. In general, just to understand that having a good 90 plus is ideal. If not, 80 plus is the second best. If not, 75 plus. If not, 70. So understand in which bracket are you lying, and the lower you go down, the lesser your chances are to get a call from those colleges. 10, 9, 10 is pretty good. From how many sets should we practice in DLR? I mean, this is out of the scope of this topic, but in general, my suggestion will be to target at least 2, on most days 3 sets. So at least 2 sets per day, and then maybe 3 sets. 74, 79, 60 is not that great. CFA level 3 will have huge impact in your interview and during your MBA. But CFA level 3 will not have a huge impact in getting a shortlist. 1.5 years experience is good. My suggestion, Ayush, try and get a very good percentile. Typically 99 plus, you'll get some very good calls, and then you can take it from there. 1098 BBA general mail, again, maximize your percentile, get a 99 plus, you should be good to go. 897 EWS engineering mail with CFA aspirant, chances for Blackie. With EWS, you need to get anywhere between 98.5 plus percentile for some of the colleges from Blackie. You're sure not to get some colleges because of the low scores in 10th and graduation, but you'll get some of them. Definitely, IIM Mumbai is there that you can target with 100% weightage for CAT score. So you'll get some good calls there. if you get a good percentile. So broadly, I've taken most of the questions. I'll take few more questions and then we'll summarize whatever we have covered today. So 987 SC category. See, for SC category, your percentile expectation requirement typically goes down by a good 10-15 percentile points. So anywhere around 85 percentile can also be good enough, and nothing to do to improve your profile at this point in time. Focus on getting that high percentile. 95, 94 and 84 is fantastic, Spandana. 22-month work ex is ideal because 18 to 24 months in some B schools, highest marks are given for that. Female, you'll get marks for gender diversity, general category. You have everything going for you. So it's like getting highest marks across all categories. Just make sure that you get minimum percentile to get those calls and then convert those calls. So Spandana, fantastic profile, nothing more to worry about. Just put all your energies and you will get ABC calls as long as you get 99 plus percentile marks. So make sure that you get that 99.34 as high a percentile, but generally a bare minimum target of 99 plus. 86, 84, 75 gem. Again, difficult to get top calls unless you get a 99.7 plus percentile, 19.8 plus percentile. So make sure that you target that. See, IFT, IIM Udaipur, they purely give shortlist on CAT scores. So make sure that you get as high a percentile in CAT. Your past scores don't matter at all. For MDI, it is 70% weightage. 896 general female non-engineer fresher. Again, target a percentile because general category is there. Marks in 10th and 12th are less. Score a very high percentile, 99 plus. I've already answered the questions for MDI IIM Udaipur. Mostly I've answered the questions. I might have missed certain questions, but then the idea behind these behind this particular session and to take questions. So all right, that's it. I've taken most of the questions. As I said, there is a profile evaluator link that you'll get pinned in the comments where you can evaluate your profile and the chances. There is for IMS students, there is also a B School zone available on your login that you can make use of. I'll stop taking questions now and I'll quickly summarize what we have covered as far as this session is concerned so that you have absolute clarity and you can maybe evaluate your own profile yourself to decide what kind of a percentile you'll expect. So understand that first is the minimum criteria for sectionals as well as overall. So for SC/ST category, the sectionals and overall are considerably less compared to general category students. A special highlight for IIM Ahmedabad, you need an overall 95 percentile. So don't worry about your 10, 12 graduation and stuff like that. Worry about getting this 95 percentile overall with sectionals being 85 each if you want to target Ahmedabad. Similarly, if you look at Bangalore and Calcutta, 80, 80, 75, 80, 75, 75 and a overall percentile of bare minimum 85. This gives you the value to be considered to be as part of the database where they'll decide whether to give call or not. Once you clear this, then IIM Mumbai is your best bet if your scores are bad. And profile, when we talk of profile, your 10, 12, graduation, work ex, etc. All these factors are not that great in terms of scoring. So Mumbai is your best bet. Rest of the colleges have a good amount of weightage for 10, 12. You can forget IIMK, IIM Indore if your 10, 12 scores are not that great. If you have gender diversity and good scores in 10, 12, understand that IIMK you have very good chances with a slightly lesser CAT percentile as well. But understand across these categories, you will need to outperform your competition. So it's not as if that if you have just good scores in 10, 12, you're going to get that call. There is still, at least if you look at any of these parameters, 45% is the minimum weightage for CAT score. Some go as high as 65 for Ahmedabad and Shillong. So understand that CAT score is still important. It's just that you'll get a lot of extra marks in the remaining parameters. Then the final admission, and this is where the importance of PI and VAT comes into picture. Not to worry too much about this, just focus on getting a call first and then this can be taken care of, which is your PI and VAT. In any of these, understand that there are no extra marks for any certifications, no extra marks for sports, nothing of this sort. two colleges, SP Jain and ISB. These are the colleges that give profile-based shortlist. They have never disclosed their criteria for percentiles. They look at and they have never disclosed what is it that they look at profile. They obviously give a form and they ask a lot of details. In general, from experience, I can say that if you have a lot of extracurriculars, a lot of championships won at state level, district level, national level, then you have a better chance, but not always true. There have been some people without any extracurriculars getting calls from SP Jain as well. So SP Jain and ISB, they haven't shared a lot of information about their shortlist criteria, which is typically profile based. So those are the colleges that some of you can also target if you feel your profile is very good in general. Finally, the colleges with 100% written test shortlist. So these are the set of colleges. These are the non-IIMs that do not consider your profile at all while giving the shortlist, and these are the 9 IIMs that give 100% weightage to the CAT score. Finally, this is the realistic CAT percentiles target that you can have. Again, this is an approximate range, depends on the kind of marks you get across different categories and the weightages allocated by different times. But in general, if you're a general category candidate, 99 plus is your target. If you're a general engineering male, this goes to 99.6 plus, 99.7 plus for ABC, because B gives weightage for WorkX as well. Sometimes A gives weightage for WorkX. In the year that will be appearing, CAT 26, you don't know whether A will have that criteria or not. So target as high a percentile. For LIK, Mumbai and Shillong, a general target will be a good idea to have a 97 plus percentile. Similarly, EWS and NCOBC follow a similar range. You can have a difference of 2 to 3 percentile points lesser for this. For SC/ST category, you will have considerable differences for the set of these colleges, and PWD finally having the least percentile requirements for getting admission. So based on this table as well, you can map what kind of percentiles you'll require depending on the category. Again, these are approximate figures. Depending on your profile in that particular category as well, these percentiles are expected to vary. So broadly speaking, that's all that I had for this session. If you have any more questions, you can pin them down in the comment section. We'll try our best to answer the really genuine questions that you ask, because most of the questions I believe are answered because of the session. Most I tried answering by picking up those questions. If still there are certain doubts or questions that we might have missed, and apologies sincerely, there have been so many comments in the chat that I might have missed certain questions. So sincere apologies for the same. You can put your question down if it's a genuine question and you have not been able to get an answer despite attending this session. We'll try our best to answer this question in the comment section. Do check out the IIMS profile section that evaluates your profile. For IIMS students, it is already available in the school zone. In the comments, the link will be provided where you can fill up your profile details. That's it from my side. I'll take a leave. Thank you so much for attending. I'll be interacting with you a lot more in the coming few sessions, whether it be recorded sessions or the live sessions that we have every Friday. Thank you so much for being patient and for the small audio related issue that happened at the start. Thanks a lot.